It's the acclamation of the American public to the police state, the military, like never before. Back after this with Steve Quayle. It's the Alex Jones Show. We are back live. It's the Alex Jones Show. Alex, to pop in at the bottom of this hour. If you've missed any of this power-packed program, you're going to want to get the podcast. We are exposing foreign mercenaries in the United States training at a FEMA facility in Hardin, Montana. Simply incredible. The American public are being acclimated like never before to military on the streets. And I want to make this point, Steve. You know, U.S. military are going to have a hard time firing on U.S. citizens. A lot of people are going to have a problem with that. But when you bring in foreign military troops and they're under foreign command, they are much more likely to put a bullet in the back of your head to make a point. And that is what is so dangerous, not only having the military on the streets, but foreign mercenaries as well.
Well, and you bring up the most important point, Jason. Those targets that have already been assigned, as Alex was targeted in the piece with 25 other people that are on Obama's hit list. Listen, these people are already assigned. The GPSing was the giveaway. And I've been told by the military that the GPSing was done so that they have, listen, we have weapon systems that people don't even know about. But when a button's pressed and you've got a bunch of smart bomblets or rocketlets or a Hellfire missile going through your front door, you really don't have time to basically break out whatever you might use to defend yourself. The thing that people have got to understand is Northcom even requested legal authority to deploy 400,000 troops. You remember that about, 3 to 4 weeks ago?
Absolutely.
You guys had it on your website, too.
Yes.
Okay, now how do you deploy 400,000 troops when you can't get 40,000 additional troops to Afghanistan and basically supply the needs over there? The idea is that I've been told, and I've gone on record, I'm telling you this, and for those of you in the world of military and intelligence, you know this is true, that we have now close to 400,000 foreign troops at different military bases under different, quote, training programs, and they're here to basically follow United Nations orders, and the United Nations, who just got appointed, Jason, the head of the Security Council.
Let's not forget the first sitting president in U.S. history to accept the job, Barack Obama, sealing the UN U.S. globalist takeover in this country and around the world, Steve.
Absolutely. And for the first time in the history of the United States, the official prayer breakfast of the United States, quote, under Christians, no longer acceptable. Christian imagery, Christian talk. Hey, even now, Christmas trees can't be called Christmas trees, and I think it's the, National Park Service or somebody just announced today that there'll be no quote-unquote Christmas ornaments because it's too secular. Get this, ladies and gentlemen, you can't talk about Jesus, but everything else goes, and I got to share this with you. This is telling, look, the tree is known by the fruit it bears, and when every single thing is opposed to what this country was founded on, and what was the presidential campaign? This is the greatest country in the world, and we intend to change that. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. You're being mind-controlled. You're being dumbed down. And that's why everyone is going to be, facing massive unemployment, massive riots. That's why all the prepositioned weapons to the different gangs and the different ethnic groups. By the way, Jesus said nation will rise against nation. That word is ethnics. It means different people groups are going to go at war. This is all stirring the pot, and this is what's going on. And the idea is, listen, as a Montanan citizen, okay, I don't give, I better say this right, I don't care what the official mouthpieces for anything say. The fact that the guys that are going to kill me and my fellow statesmen who happen to believe in states' rights over the constitutional authority, or forgive me, the unconstitutional authority of the state or of the federal government over state government, we're saying, hey, guess what? We live in Montana. We know what's going on. We're the ones running into the Tajik troops on BMW motorcycles. We're the ones seeing and getting the reports from the 7,000 people that have been brought in to secure the border. Now, again, Jason, that's a huge story. Even as we speak, jets come in from the leading mercenary organization of the world, and they take foreign troops up and train them in the area that they're going to secure, and then they take them back to whatever military bases that they're bivouacked at. And at some point, and it appears that point is near, I do not know the day or hour, but I can tell you this, with everything that's going on, we're getting closer and closer and closer. You sense it, Alex sense it, and now we've gone from the word sense to absolutely seeing it, hearing it and experiencing it with our own eyes, with our own ears, and that's what we're making the scream about. Hardin, Montana is a foreign mercenary training base in waiting. It is absolutely owned and controlled by Middle Eastern corporate entities tied in with different mercenary groups, Blackwater Z, whoever. Or, how about this? The Defense Logistics Service, Inc., that's another possible corporate entity. One guy that poo-pooed me yesterday, Jason, just found out that, hey, guess what? The address that they're registered to is a medical marijuana depository. Does that maybe tell you that maybe everything's not on the up and up? Or basically, how about this? One toke over the line, sweet New World Order. You know, the bottom line is that nothing stacks up. If you and I were basic rookie cops or rookie detectives, when we follow all the leads of all the evidence and we get rid of all the fake and all we're left with is the root, that's what we're following. And when you follow the money, you come to the same conclusion that Alex, you, and I, and others have warned about. This is absolutely the systematic preparatory phase for the implementation of martial law using foreign mercenary troops who will kill their pre-assigned targets. And ladies and gentlemen, if the public knows that Obama has his hit list, George Bush and Cheney had their hit list, Clinton had his hit list, now they're bringing Clinton in to help Obama with his hit list. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's way beyond, quote, a vast right-wing conspiracy or even a left-wing conspiracy. This is Luciferian, it's evil, and if we don't stop, and we won't be able to stop it, Jason, but we can help people by the grace of God to save as many lives as possible. The best defense is, number one, acknowledging that the stuff does not add up. I tell people to pray about it. I tell people to do their own homework, but they can't deny that all roads lead to a very wealthy and powerful group of individuals that are systematically going to balkanize the United States, and prior to the official balkanization, they're going to rape, pillage, and plunder. And again, it's going under. And I'm sorry, but that's as blunt as I know how to be.
And, you know, Bill Clinton plays into this left-right paradigm on purpose, knowing he works for the globalist, knowing he wants a position at the UN with him and his wife just mused how it was great to be president of the UN for a couple of days, knowing that organization is what the globalists want as their front group for global governance. He says vast right-wing conspiracy as virulent as ever. Again, trying to break us up into these two-party system of Republican and Democrat, left and right, conservative and liberal. This is about humanity. This is about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. This is about fighting an upcoming police state that we see ever encroaching right in front of our faces. And now with this in Montana, it has never been this bad, Steve.
It has not, and this is like Alex, and God bless him, and he keyed in on it. This is if you will, this is the igniter key that people have got to recognize. They can say, well, I just hear that as internet rumor. I just hear it as this or that. Listen, I never got the answer to my question. Why was no protest made over police decals? Becky said not for official purposes. I can tell you this. I have enough photos to prove that is not true. It was never put on their cars. And again, why did no one question? Well, I'll tell you why. Because people that were in a position of authority were hired by APF. And that tells me a lot, Jason. And again, we've got to recognize that this is very, very, very sinister, and I use that word in the full, I guess you'd say, understanding of how deep the roots go. This is as blatantly in our face as it can be. And those of you who think, well, this doesn't bother me because it's in Hardin, Montana, you don't know what's going on in your own city in some closed-out warehouse. And when the go signal is given, they plan to come down on a full-fledged hammer. And I want to say, I don't know how much longer I have, but in closing, those of you in law enforcement, even in Hardin, Montana, whether you're tribal, whether you're community, whether you're county, those of you who are being bought off at this point, you will be blown off at a later date, because with all of the foreign observers / military personnel being placed into police departments throughout the country, their number one duty is to make sure that the underlings follow the orders, and then once their orders are fulfilled, they are the ones that will off the people that have fulfilled the assassination of their fellow countrymen. We watched it in Hitler, we watched it in China, we watched it in Vietnam, we watched it in, obviously, Cambodia with Pol Pot. We've watched it all over the world.